You're going to learn how to take any deck of cards and spring them in between your hands like this. This is one of the most beautiful and mesmerizing card moves ever created, and I'm going to show you how to do it in this video. So go and grab your deck of cards and get ready to learn this amazing move. Hey, how's it going everyone? Oscar Owen here, and in this video you're going to learn the card spring. So as you can see, the spring is super visual and it's actually quite easy to do if you follow the steps that I'm going to lay out for you in this video. So I've broken the move down into 3 easy to follow steps. You can learn how to do it, and then if you stay until the end, I'll also be giving you a practice blueprint so you know what to practice and when to practice, so you can just learn this move as fast as possible and avoid dropping all your cards. So definitely stick around to the end of the video if you want to learn how to do this move really quickly. Anyway, let's go to part 1 of the card spring, which is knowing how to hold the cards. So there are 2 ways to hold the cards. Grip 1 will make the card spring like this, and grip 2 will make the card spring like this. Personally, grip 1 is my favorite as it looks nicer and the sound of the spring is lower. However, you do need bigger hands for this grip. So here's my recommendation. I'll teach you both grips, and if you've got medium to large hands, then try using grip 1, but if you've got smaller hands, then try using grip 2. So grip 1 looks like this. Hold the cards in your hand, then place the top right edge of the deck on your ring finger. Then place the rest of your fingers along the deck so that your thumb comes to the back. You don't want your thumb sticking over the edge as it needs to be aligned with the bottom of the cards. You're almost palming the whole deck, which is why you need bigger hands to actually do this spring. So what I want you to do is just practice holding the cards like this and just become familiar with the deck in your hand in this position here. You don't need to spring them yet, just become familiar with how it feels. Grip B looks like this. Place your middle finger in the middle of the deck. You want the deck about halfway down your finger, which is the height of your second joint. The rest of your fingers then come down. Your hand is in a very central position here. Your thumb then slides back and rests in the middle of the side of the deck that is closest to you. Importantly, your thumb should never stick out or this will happen. The cards won't spring properly. Your thumb is what guides the cards and so needs to be right on the edge of the deck. So just hold this position here and get familiar with it. So please try out both grips and see which one you like more. Once you've done that, we can then move on to part 2, which is actually knowing how to spring the cards. I'm going to explain how to spring the cards with grip B, but it's exactly the same for grip A too. So if you've chosen to use grip A, then still just follow along to this tutorial. Hold the cards in your preferred grip and then apply pressure onto the cards. You do this by squeezing the deck with your thumb and fingers. And this builds up pressure, which is what allows the cards to spring. This is the movement of your fingers here. You are opening up your hand with your thumb and fingers moving outwards. As you do this, the cards will fire out of your hand as the pressure is released. So to begin with, this will be really hard. So when you start out, make sure you begin with just a few cards and spring those onto your hand. And don't move on until you can actually do this. Then once you get comfortable springing maybe 15 cards, add a few more, and just keep doing this until you get the whole deck springing in your hand. And this will build finger strength and also allow you to spring the whole deck smoothly with accuracy. Before you actually try doing this, I'm sure you probably already have tried doing it, you're going to figure out that you're going to be dropping all the cards everywhere. And that's because we haven't gone over the final step, which is how to actually catch the cards and how to practice this move properly so you can learn it as fast as possible. So let's start off with part 3, which is catching the cards. Your left hand is what's going to be catching the cards, and it basically just needs to be as wide open as possible, almost like a cradle. And the bigger you spread out your hand, the less cards you're going to drop. And you're just aiming for your left hand. So make sure that your hand is super wide, place it directly below the cards that you're springing, and just use it to catch the cards. When you put all 3 parts together, you're going to get the card spring. Now, I know you've already tried this and it probably seems impossible. You've dropped all the cards. So the most important part of the video is actually knowing how to practice the moves that I've just taught you. Firstly, when practicing, start off only with a few cards, as I mentioned earlier in this video, but also to make this way easier, start with your hands really close together. So if I was practicing this move, I'd grab a few cards and I'd just practice doing this with my hands really close together. As you start to get better, you can start to open your hands up more and add more cards, and that is where the card spring starts to look really impressive. Now, the magician performing the card spring in this video is a guy called Wade, and he's a really talented magician from Japan, and he can do the card spring with his hands really, really far apart. But when just starting out, you don't need to do that, just keep your hands really close together. Secondly, when practicing, you want to spring the cards down. Now, this is such a common mistake I see people making. they try and spring the cards from like side to side. So let me give you an example. They're trying to learn the spring and they're doing this. And I can do it because I've practiced this for a long time, but when you start out learning, it's a lot harder to do that. Instead, place your hands directly over each other when practicing and spread the cards down, not to the side. Now, when it comes to your actual practice routine, the one thing you don't want to do is spend like 3 to 4 hours sitting down and just learning this move in one hit. As one, that just becomes really boring, and number two, that's not actually the fastest and most effective way to learn this move. Instead, what I recommend you do is just spend 20 minutes a day for the next 4 to 5 days just practicing this move, first just holding the cards correctly, then springing a few of them with your hands close together, and slowly just build it up over 4 to 5 days with about 20 minutes of practice or so. And the reason this is so effective is because it allows your fingers to have the time to develop the muscle memory to make this move actually work. All the card spring is muscle memory. Like, I don't even need to look when I do it anymore because I've done it so many times. So it's better to spread out your practice over 4 to 5 days than trying to do it in one big hit, as that's what's going to allow your body to learn the muscle memory to do this move. Also, if you want to learn more amazing magic tricks like this, then please check out my course, Card Magic Pro. Inside, I teach all of the greatest card tricks and sleights ever created, which will turn you into a real wizard. So please check the first link in the description if you want to find out more.